Hello everybody and welcome to the Mancave. We are live on youtube.com and Spreaker.com. I'm Rafael Elia here with my trusty sidekick, my trusty ward over here, John Jackson.
Hello, I'm John Jackson. I just want to tell you that we are on Twitter. I'm at John97Jackson. My colleague is at Raf_Elia. And we have a new person on our Twitter team, and that is Ethan Illers, and he is at Ethan_Illers. And don't forget our Man Cave page where you can send us questions right now and throughout our whole show.
We're tweeting live all show.
We may incorporate it into our show, answer your question, or discuss it. That is at Mancave NY Sports. The NY is capital. There's a capital N in Mancave, and it's all one word.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Now that we got
all that
advertisements
stuff
out of the way, let's get into what this show is really about, and that is about the sports, is it not?
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about? What do you want to start off with?
Well, most relevant thing is spring training just started.
They just start. The Yankees are right now in the middle of their first spring training game against the Detroit
getting
Tigers.
crushed by the Tigers,
Yeah,
although they made somewhat of a comeback.
Last I saw, they were losing to the Tigers. I'll try to check that out
It's
right
like
now.
6-3 or something
but
like that.
it doesn't matter. They had Luis Severino going the first two innings. His first inning was 1-2-3, and his second inning he walked a guy, hit a guy, walked a guy, walked the run in. There was a single in there. He gave up a grand slam as well.
Yeah, but it's spring training. These guys are getting into the swing of things. The pitchers especially, they're not in midseason form, obviously.
Oh,
so,
100%, and especially a young pitcher.
But Severino is definitely a guy you want to look at in spring training because he's a key part to the Yankees rotation.
I think that's a great
He's
way
make
to
or break.
segue what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to get a little bit into the
Yankees
rotation because last week we talked a lot about the Mets rotation.
Yeah.
And rightly so because the Mets rotation is outstanding, but we've talked enough about that. I want to get into the Yankee rotation because this is a rotation that has so many question marks surrounding it. And we're not just talking about health-wise because that is a major thing with when you have Tanaka. Don't know what's going to go on with him. He got the bone chip removed from his elbow.
The elbow bone chip removed.
We have CC Sabathia.
Oh,
who knows
so
what's
many
going on with
questions.
him.
So many questions.
We have Michael Pineda. He's up and down.
He blows up in some games and he pitches gems sometimes. You just never know.
He might have pitched one of the better games we've seen all in the MLB season last year, but
so many strikeouts. Near 20. He had like 19 or something that in one game.
But that's again a rare occurrence, and he's not consistent. But that's what I wanted to talk about because you do have CC Sabathia. Who knows what he's going to do? Who's the ace of the staff? Who would you consider right now the ace of staff?
I would still say Tanaka. Definitely.
You'd still say Tanaka?
If healthy, definitely Tanaka. That's the question mark. Is he healthy?
But even with healthy, he's not been pitching the caliber of an ace.
Who's better?
No one's better.
Exactly.
But Luis Severino has that making, but I don't think you could consider a guy that young.
He will be your ace. I say by the end of the year, he'll be the Yankees' ace. But right now, you can't consider him the ace.
Oh, no, definitely not.
But he showed good potential
I
last
would
year.
say we do not have an ace. I don't think we have an ace of staff. I think Tanaka, of course, is being molded to that role and will be treated like he's that ace, but I don't think he is the ace. Who starts opening day?
Tanaka has to be Tanaka.
Yeah,
I think
they're treating him as the ace.
Yeah, even if you're an uneducated Yankees fan, you just think Tanaka is your ace. It's common knowledge because there's nobody who's better than Tanaka right now.
Well, on the staff, yeah. Proven and definitely.
Right now, because CC obviously was an ace back in 2012.
That's the question I wanted to ask you about as well. Who do you think's going to start opening day for the Mets?
That's a tough one.
Because opening day is away this year for the Mets. So they might have started a pitcher that would segue into Matt Harvey pitching opening day at Citi Field.
Yeah.
Who would that be? Would that be DeGrom or Syndergaard? I think one.
Well, see, this is an interesting question, and actually, like you said, they start on the road at Kansas City, and our colleague Ethan Illers will be at that game in Kansas City.
Our contributor.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. That's when the Royals will get their, all the ceremonies for winning the World Series. However,
that's gonna be a fun night for them.
Definitely. Not for the Mets though. Watching what could have been.
Spoil it, yeah. Oh no, it's a great thing. It's a great tradition to watch.
But anyway, like you said, who will be the opening day starter. I don't think the Mets are in a mentality now where they don't care who's the opening day starter, because as we saw in the playoffs, they had a really interesting thing. They were trying to make sure, the innings limit, they put like Harvey third. It's all this stuff they were trying to do strategically. It was all strategic. They wanted Harvey to start the home opener in the playoffs, first time ever at Citi Field. They started. Who did they start with in the playoffs?
The Mets?
Yeah, the Mets. Is it DeGrom or Syndergaard?
I thought it was DeGrom. I don't think they would start it with Syndergaard.
Yeah, see, it doesn't matter, though.
But listen, you have 5 pitchers that are all capable of starting opening day anyway. I mean,
Cologne started last year, and he's our worst pitcher by far. By far.
And you still don't have Wheeler yet, so it's only going to get better and better. We talked about that. Let's move on to a more controversial issue on the Yankees side.
More on
something we haven't talked about a lot since A-Rod. But we have Aroldis Chapman. We saw some of this coming when the Yankees got him. We were questioning, is he going to be suspended? He had the domestic violence. I want to be very careful when I say it because it is a sensitive issue. It is domestic violence, abuse.
Yeah.
Is what he
with his girlfriend in where was it? Was that Florida or was that like?
I thought it was out of country.
It might have been something.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Doesn't really matter.
You, wrong information. But he did shoot off a gun, and that's what he's getting charged for. He's still not proven that he's ever touched his girlfriend. That's something we want to point out, which is why his suspension is relatively light for a domestic violence charge, I guess, if you would say. But we've seen lighter. We've seen Ray Rice. He got, what was that, 2 games?
Well, see, that's a difference. That's a difference.
But remember, Ray Rice is hard in fact. But go ahead. You talk.
Well, Ray Rice, you had the video and everything. Although they tried to cover it up, so it seemed. However, with Aroldis Chapman, there's actually not enough evidence to charge him with anything. So this is Manfred going on his own and saying,
I think
we're gonna suspend him because we don't want the MLB to be represented by this without.
Of course. And
being punished.
Of course he has to be suspended. And I think what, honestly, the most impressive thing about this is that they were able to resolve it with the league and the player on the same page. Because that does not happen often.
Yep.
And especially, this is the first domestic violence suspension that we've seen in the MLB. And Rob Manfred is in new ground. And I think he needed to make it an impact. Because, again, we haven't seen anything like it before.
Yeah. However,
going off Roger Goodell, I guess.
Yeah, we did want to mention last time, and this coincides with the Aroldis Chapman story. Jose Reyes.
Yeah, Jose Reyes.
He hasn't been banned yet, but they're paying him.
Suspended, yeah.
They're paying him to get all this figured out.
I think
letting him take his salary
for him being suspended. I think now you can almost guarantee.
Absolutely.
And he's in the middle of a court case himself, right?
There's more proof in this one.
Which is gonna beg to see now Rob Manfred has set precedents. So let's see what they decide to do. You have any prediction for that? How many games? Let's give an over/under.
Definitely over.
Okay, over/under 40 games. You say
over. I would say over.
Over 40 games.
I say maybe about 50.
I'm going to go with you on that, and I'm going to say over 40 games as well. That's something, we'll tweet out that question. I'm actually going to tweet it out right now, see if we get any responses on that. But definitely I think he gets, after this president's, again, a lot more evidence, and I think that's what went into Ray Rice's thing. Why, not that he got suspended heavily, because he most certainly did not, but I think it's because, that's why the fans reacted negatively towards him, because it was just, the evidence was right in everyone's face, and it's undeniable at that point.
Yep. And our last story on the baseball front, just a funny, interesting story. Yoenis Cespedes has been coming in with these crazy-looking cars, and so Noah Syndergaard said to him, hey, Cespedes, you want to ride in on a horse? So that's what they did the other day. They rode into spring training on horseback. So
yeah,
Cespedes brings
all the
great entertainment.
His transportation, I did not see a horse coming.
Yeah. You start with these real expensive cars, and then you relegate yourself to a horse. But hey, he's bringing entertainment.
I wouldn't call that a relegation, honestly. I mean, when you're talking about
expense though.
Okay, expense, but horses cost money too.
Yeah.
But I think that you can't get over what he's doing right now.
Cespedes, he's interesting, bringing great entertainment. But now we are done with our first third of the show. That's 10 minutes. We still have 20 minutes left. Raphael, why don't you talk to our viewers?
Okay. We're just going to remind you that we are live right now on youtube.com at the Mancave ! And we are also live on Spreaker. That is Spreaker. I got a ton of questions last week about that. Yes, I am trying to say Spreaker, not speaker. I'm not making a mistake, I swear. So definitely subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you happen to find Spreaker more convenient, definitely tune in on that. Again, our Twitter handles are at MancaveNY Sports, and I am at Raf_Aliyah, RAF_Aliyah, and John, my friend here, is at John_Jackson.
No, John 97 Jackson.
John 97
And that's
Jackson.
a capital J and another capital J. But anyway, we'll move on to our second part of the show.
I had one job, honestly.
Yeah.
I really did.
We'll move on to our second part of the show, and we have hockey and basketball on our agenda for that. So, hockey, big move for the New York Rangers. They brought in Eric Staal from Carolina. Let's talk about that.
Let's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this just continues their theme of getting players to win now. That's the main thing when I want to talk about the New York Rangers. It's a very much a win now attitude.
Absolutely.
We're now 4 years straight without a first-round draft pick. We gave up a second-round draft pick. We might not even have a third-round draft pick, to be honest, if I'm to take a guess, or a fourth-round draft pick. But it's giving up a lot, honestly, when you see these prospects. They're pretty big names that we're giving up to get, but it all evens out. We get Eric Staal.
Yeah.
Playoff experience, I guess, if you want to say it's
the playoff experience that means the most.
You could swing me either way. I could love it, and I could say, okay, good. Now we have this playoff experience. Now we got to the Eastern Conference Finals without the playoff experience last year. Maybe we could go all the way this year.
Yeah,
or I could say, you know what, we're going to probably lose in the Eastern Conference Finals again, and now we're going to have older guys going into the last year of their contracts. You know, are we ever going to win a cup?
Yeah. So with this, some of his stats are he has played in 63 games. He has 10 goals, 23 assists for a total of 33 points. And he is 31 years old, and they gave up 3 prospects for Eric Staal. So right now, where does Staal stand among Rangers performers? Where would you put him?
Where does Staal stand?
Who would you compare him
to? Well, you got to compare him. I feel like 1 second. Don't know what's happening with that. Yeah, you gotta compare him to a forward, obviously. Even though I feel like the Rangers should have gone after a defender. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
With
the YouTube stuff.
I'm going to keep talking, though, and if you're listening to this on Spreaker, good for you. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that if you're listening to us on YouTube. Yeah, we were just talking about Eric Staal. Who would I compare him to on the Rangers currently?
Yeah, like a play. I'm not saying a position. I'm just saying talent level. Talent level. So it could be somebody who doesn't score goals.
Okay, talent level.
level.
He's a veteran. Which is something that the Rangers do not have.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with talent level. He's definitely slower than Zuccarello. I guess I compare him to a more experienced Derek Stepan, to be honest, because he has that same style of play where he's a good passer and he gets himself into good positions to score, but he doesn't have that big amount of physicality and speed that, say, a Matt Zuccarello has. So I'm going to put him with that Rick Nash, Derek Stepan type-esque player, in my opinion. And that's very much debatable because I think he really is a different player than the Rangers have been used to.
Okay. So moving on, keeping it in hockey, the Islanders, didn't you want to talk about, they may be moving. They want out of the Barclays Center.
Well,
you might have mentioned that last time.
I think they want out of the Barclays, and I honestly think the Barclays wants them out. I think it's a big consensus.
Yeah, I mean, you've been to Islanders-Rangers game when they played at the Barclays, right?
I was at the Barclays.
And how is it for hockey? For somebody who hasn't been there?
It's obviously... Listen, it lives up to its reputation of not being hockey-friendly in certain areas.
Yeah, much more basketball, right?
Yeah, much more basketball-oriented. Just the way it's situated, it's hockey rink is a lot smaller. You can't see certain parts of the ice because of the positioning. It's not hockey friendly, but it's not as big of a deal as people make it out to be. It's not. Yeah, I saw, and I went to pretty bad areas just to see, just to check it out, and really, it's not terrible. And you buy tickets there, you buy tickets in those seats. You're expecting that you're not going to see in certain areas. It's like going to Yankee Stadium and sitting next to the center field. You're not going to see left field if you're on the right field side, and vice versa. It's just something So I don't get the whole complaints about it, because I feel like what you're getting yourself into. But they definitely don't love it there. How could you? You're the Islanders. You're not the Brooklyns.
I know. Islanders, Long Island. Emphasis.
They have Long Island on their logo.
So let's move on to basketball, but stay in the Barclays Center, the Nets. We bash them all the time for right reasons. They have been trashed this year based on their record. I believe they have 17 wins.
I give thumbs down.
However, they are a little bit better recently. In their last 10 games, they were 5-5 until they lost last night. They are now 5-6 in their last 11 games. Joe Johnson is not on the team anymore. They have parted ways with Joe.
Yeah, I think
he's
that,
on the
I think
Heat,
that
the
happened
Miami
after
Heat now.
our show last time.
Yeah, so we thought it was worthy of mention.
Shout outs to our newest.
We got another follower. We are now up to 97 on our Mancave Twitter.
This is
if
new,
you haven't followed us, please do.
Favor. I mean, we're growing, and we would love if you guys would grow with us.
And subscribe as well on YouTube.
But where were we? We were bashing the Nets, if I wasn't mistaken.
So they got rid
Joe
of
Johnson. Yeah. That happened a little bit after our show last time, so we didn't get a chance to mention it. Good move, bad move. It doesn't really matter now. I feel like it's water under the bridge.
Let the young players
because now we can
develop.
look at it in hindsight. They're not a good team.
They're not right now, and they have great players. Thaddeus Young and Brook Lopez are great players.
If you're going to compare them to the Knicks, like, they're definitely the better team, the more positive team right now.
Yeah.
But that's saying a lot. I want to get into the Knicks as part of our later third of the show. So
you don't want to do them right now?
No. I want to continue on the Nets for a little bit. And
okay. We have 2 more minutes just about, so talk about the Nets for 2 more minutes.
I could definitely talk about the Nets. I think challenge accepted.
Okay.
The Nets. The Nets. They've not been playing up to par with anything. We've been saying it all year. But you say they're getting better now. They still lost to the Lakers.
Yeah, that's bad.
And that's terrible.
They had a 2-game winning streak, and I was amazed. And it was 2 teams that weren't terrible. I don't think they were great, but they weren't terrible. And they were they the ones that almost beat the Clippers too?
Yeah, they did better. They performed better than they.
So they actually might be 5-7 in their last 12 games. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
They're just not good.
They're just a losing team. Again, when you compare them to the Knicks.
Another thing with the Nets, they don't have a first-round draft pick.
They
mortgaged their future with the trade with the Celtics a few years back, and they're feeling the repercussions right now.
Oh, definitely, 100% feeling the repercussions. I want to move on to the Knicks now. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna move on to the Knicks.
Okay, Knicks.
We're going to take a quick break and move on to the Knicks.
The Knicks, yeah.
My friend Johnny can't take a hint. So once again, we're going to remind you we are live on YouTube and Spreaker at the Mancave NY Sports. I'm sorry, that's the Mancave ! And we're also on Twitter at the Mancave NY Sports. I am at Raf RAF_Aliyah, and my friend John is at John97 Jackson. We also want to shout out once again our contributor from Missouri, Ethan_Illers. That's ILLERS. All right.
All lowercase.
Indeed.
Emphasis on the lowercase. So Knicks.
Melo. What can we say?
He's been in the news recently.
This is frustrating because as a team that's doing so poorly, you should not be in the news this much unless they're talking about doing this poorly. Like you can't. That's terrible. It's terrible what they're doing to this team. And you know what? Melo's not helping out. You know, I'm not going to give sympathy. You know, oh, he's a great player stuck on a terrible team. There are tens of good players stuck on bad teams. And you know what? They deal with it. You know, they deal with it like mature athletes, knowing that they have to do the best they can given the situation they're in. And he's acting immature, childish during games. This is on the field. I have a huge problem with it, but you move on. Go ahead.
Move on to
NFL? No. Talk about
you want to? Okay, I'll talk about.
Well, just what do you think about it?
Yeah, Melo is not acting mature as a player and the franchise face of the New York Knicks. He's not acting mature because he's tweeting out things to, I believe it's Marius Stoudemire. They're going back and forth, former Knick. He's also telling fans who are complaining, look, Phil Jackson is over there. Complain to him. Ask him for your money back.
I'm not saying that he's wrong about that. I mean,
it's
obviously.
true. But you can't say that as a player.
Yeah, just stop. Listen, you have to understand the fans are tired. And the fans in particular are tired of you because you're a big-name player. And not saying that you could help the team because this team is terrible with or without Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, it's bad.
But when you're going to be the guy they look to. I'm sorry, but you're going to be the guy they look at. You know, when the team's struggling, they're not going to look at a Flalo. They're going to be looking at the guy. They're going to be looking at Carmelo Anthony.
It's all Melo. It's all on Melo.
100%. You take control of this. I got to handle something real quick.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to mention some NFL news right now. In the NFL, we've had a lot of franchise tags that have gone on. And I have the numbers right here. We have Von Miller, which is Super Bowl MVP. He has gotten a franchise tag, an exclusive one of $14.192 million. We have Mohamed Wilkerson of the New York Jets. He has got another exclusive franchise tag. I say another, him and Von Miller. His is $15.7 million. We have Sam Bradford. This isn't a franchise tag. This is a deal he made with the Eagles.
Wait, was it a deal or an extension?
It's a deal.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's $26 million guaranteed.
I'm back.
We have an extension, like you said, Joe Flacco of the Baltimore Ravens. He has 3-year extension that they extended him with. Josh Norman, the big scandal with Josh Norman. I wouldn't even call it scandal, more on-field scandal.
Just problems that he gets. Yeah,
on-field with Odell Beckham and him, who is on the Super Bowl losers, runner-ups, which is the Carolina Panthers. He's getting $14 million. And then a non-exclusive franchise tag on Kirk Cousins, who broke out for the Washington Redskins.
Wait.
He is making $19.9.
Wait 2 seconds on that note.
Why?
School is in session. Tell us, what's the difference between an exclusive and a non-exclusive franchise tag?
Okay. Non-exclusive is a little bit different because if Kirk Cousins does not accept and agree to this franchise tag, his team will collect 2 first-round picks. So that's different from the franchise tag.
And an exclusive.
There's other
exclusive
specifics.
Just means that you can that they can't do business with any other team during the time. So
he can do business, but no one's going to take Kirk Cousins and lose 2 first-round picks
100%.
and pay him.
No.
He wants about like $20 million per
Not
year.
today.
Ain't gonna happen. No. Kirk Cousins did great last year. Amazing. Kind of like Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Breakout seasons for subpar players.
But you got to play like that consistently if you want the money he's asking for. He wants a deal for $20 million. They're willing to top out at 16, so they're obviously $4 million apart. See how that goes. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of those. Let me see them real quick.
Yeah. I already mentioned all the...
Yeah. Alshon,
I didn't mention Alshon.
Oh, Alshon Jeffrey, also franchise
Chicago Bears.
$14.6 million. Alshon Jeffrey, not surprising. He's obviously that franchise player for the Bears. Yeah. Hopefully, they get better because...
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Von Miller, expected Super Bowl MVP, of course. Mohamed Wilkerson, we talked about it last week. No surprise to me.
Linchpin of that Jets front seven.
100%. Sam Bradford. I honestly, I guess maybe I just wasn't focused on it because he kind of takes a backseat to who's my focus.
Bradford is a bottom 10 quarterback.
But listen, Doug Peterson has I guess plans for him, so But, he's yet to live up to everyone's expectation of Sam Bradford. And year after year, I say Sam Bradford. I want to take him as my second quarterback in fantasy, as my backup. I want to ride on this guy's coattails, but he's given me no reason to. But, again, Doug Peterson, he wants it, so.
He does not do much, Bradford, when he is healthy. And usually he's good the years that he's not healthy. So Bradford is not somebody I would pick up in fantasy unless you're in a 40-man league and you need a quarterback. Anyway,
okay, moving on. Kirk Cousins, we discussed him last week. Obviously far apart. Franchise tagged him. They want to keep him. Obviously, was that exclusive or non-exclusive? So he could.
One was the non-exclusive.
So he could technically still sign with another team. Don't see it happening.
Not likely.
Josh Norman, again, expected.
Obviously.
One of the stars of that Carolina Panther team as they hope to make it again to the Super Bowl. They'll definitely be among the favorites. Joe Flacco, 3-year deal. I'm surprised a little bit just given his age and his deterioration, but he's still playing well.
He's good, Flacco. He's good. He just so many injuries on that Ravens team last year.
100%.
So many injuries.
100%.
Up and down that roster. They weren't a good team before the injuries, but after the injuries, they were even worse. So they were probably a 9-win team if everybody stayed healthy. Maybe a 10-win team, but they were terrible last year.
100%.
Flacco's always been good, though.
Flacco's a consistently good quarterback.
I wouldn't say elite, but he's probably top 15, I would say. Top 10 on a good year.
I think I could go with the top 10. I don't think there's any problem. I don't think that's any exaggeration. Of course, we'd have to go through it, but for what it's worth.
I'd say at least top 15. He's better than a lot.
100%.
And he's a franchise quarterback, too.
Just an alert, the Yankees are right now at the bottom of the 8th. They are leading 8-7.
Wow, and they were being crushed at 1.5.
They were at one point, they were at 1.7 to, I think, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So, good for them. I guess it's a spring training game.
It doesn't matter. It means absolutely nothing.
I never get it.
It's more individual performances that means a lot in spring training. It's just a guy like Severino. However, this is his first start, so we understand if he explodes like he did.
And he did.
So we have about 2 minutes. We're going to do something a little bit different this time.
No, I don't. I was made unaware of this.
No, instead of the core 4 sports, we usually talk hockey, basketball, baseball.
I'm aware now.
Yeah, football. Now we'll talk about UFC, women's UFC actually, because we have a big match coming up.
Yeah, Holly Holm, UFC 196 this coming weekend. Holly Holm, 10-0, taking on Misha Tate. She's 17-5, ranked number 2 in the bantamweight.
Now, Raphael, please tell our viewers why this is of any importance whatsoever.
Why this is of significance, because this is Holly Holm's first bantamweight title defense since she defeated Holly Holm in 94, not 1994.
Did you say Holly Holm beat Holly Holm?
Did I?
Yes, you did. She beat herself
Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey
yes.
in the kick heard round the world, I guess.
You could call it that.
Yeah, everyone saw that. This is her first title defense. Going to be a big one. It's no gimme because we haven't seen Holly Holm defend her title yet, and Misha Tate is she's a fighter. She's a really good fighter.
There's 17 wins.
So we're going to see that. We also have Conor McGregor also fighting. But I'm going to call Holly Holmes a little bit bigger just because it's her first title defense. I think people will be watching her. After she took out Rousey, who no one could be taken out.
People weren't really interested in women's UFC, but, with Ronda Rousey and now this Holly Holm.
100%.
It's gathering it's gathering a decent audience now. Gathering a decent audience. So
100%. So before we leave, we want to tell you that the Mets play their first spring training game this Friday. We have UFC 196 on Sunday or Saturday. This weekend, we'll call it.
Sure.
We have Knicks Nets basketball. We have Rangers Islanders basketball. Keeping an eye on that. College basketball approaching March Madness as we are now in March. So thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, we are at Mancave NY Sports on Twitter. The Mancave ! At YouTube.com and on Spreaker. I am Raphael Aliyah. That's at Raf_Aliyah.
And I'm John Jackson, which is at capital JOHN 97, capital JACKSON.
Okay, thank you guys. Thanks for tuning into the Man Cave.